First of all, thanks for coming in. Just a few questions. Did I pick it up correct earlier on when we were when there was questions being asked that you're doing basically putting it on telly or whatever about the need to be looking after dogs after Christmas? Is that right?
No, it's an awareness campaign in the new year.
But the one thing I'd say to you is there's a lot of people at the moment thinking about buying dogs. Before you buy a dog, you have them for a fair while, 10, 11, 12, they could live 15, 16 years, some of them. And I think we need to be hitting it hard before Christmas. That there's people, everyone that sees a dog loves the dog to look at them. But you have to remember they're there forever.
Yeah.
Or there for a long time. And there's costs associated with them. And I think that we need to be hitting that home hard. Like, what's the budget a year between councils and these groups that say for the homes that take in dogs? What's the budget that it costs per year to look after all this?
Well, you see, the responsibilities around dogs are distributed across a number of departments.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm wondering what's the total cost?
I don't know the answer to that question in relation to dog. The pounds, is it the actual pounds?
So I can provide information in relation to the charities that the Minister provides funding to. So, for instance, last year, €5.8 million was provided by the Minister to 99 animal welfare charities, and Senator Daly said we expect an imminent announcement on the 2023 animal welfare grants. Just to give you an idea of scale, in 2018 it was 2.7 million, it went up 2.9 million in 2019.
Do you give it to councils? Obviously there's councils as well. Who gives it to the councils? There's more money.
No, I'm talking specifically about money given by the Minister for Agriculture to animal welfare
the dog
charities.
Homes, right?
Yes, exactly.
And what I'm asking is, does anyone know what the councils get as well between...
I stand corrected. I do have some information. In the context of the local authorities, there is a certain amount of funding that's given through local government finance in housing, and then the rest of it is generated through dog licensing. So I have some figures here. The total expenditure in relation to dog control in 2020, these are 2022 figures, was 8.01 million. The income from licenses is 4.34 million. The income from on-the-spot fines was 79,000. The income from other sources was 205,000, and the deficit met by the local authority through the funding they received through housing, it was 3.38 million.
Yeah, so there's, no matter how we go, there's about 14 or 15 million being spent between different between the grants the government or the minister gives, and between what's given to local authorities, to solve something that shouldn't be, to be quite frank about it. For the simple reason, when you get a dog, it's like when you buy a car, there's a textbook with it, and wherever it's got, you're done. That's it. And that's the long and the short to it. And I think we have to get a bit tougher on this crack of, like, it's lovely looking at something, but the message has to be clear that there's responsibilities with it. And in relation to, say, the talk about costs or whatever, a lot of young vits now are going into small animals because at least they won't kick you like a bullock or whatever, and that's the reality. There's no point in saying. And in cities, a lot of people have a lot of pets now, where the numbers it has blown up, and in actual fact, we could do with some of the vits out the country. In a lot of cases, I'd be very much totally against, like I see it in England, in horses and in dogs, this where people were brought down the road of this insurance crack, and all it was into the hands of ye as vits, being straight about it, because it was a licence that gave them more money. That's being straight to you. I think that in fairness to...
I'd say in fairness to the veterinary, because the corporates were exploiting...
Yeah, but it is corporates in the UK. That's what I'm on about. I'm not on about corporates
not individual vets now.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the corporates in the UK would have... It was manna from heaven. But in relation to for the vets, in fairness to any vet, and we have a few dogs at home ourselves, that any time you go to the vet, they'll tell you before you start. Or if there's a problem in an operation to be done, they'll give you a fair good guide as to what it'll cost. And you can decide, as you said earlier on, Bill, do you want to do it, or are you just prolonging it for a few weeks or a few months if kidneys or something was given trouble, or do you need to put it down, to put it simple? And people have to make them decisions. Like, you don't run a veterinary practice for nothing. And in fairness, I've seen over the last 5 years, and I don't know whatever studies have been done, when they bring the dog for getting their vaccines and all the different stuff, that they bring them, because in fairness, the lady in the house is better at minding them, doing them, you know, they look after the dog. In fairness, she's like, the dog is minded nearly better than myself. But when the dog is brought to the when the dog is brought to the vet, when the dog is brought to the vet, in fairness, you know, they get their vaccines, all the different stuff. Over the last 5 years, in my opinion, I often said, how much did that cost you? It's nearly the same price over the last 4 or 5 years. Bear you're going for something big in an operation or whatever, and that's going into a different category. It's like horses. One time, there's a hospital now for horses. Well, it's going to cost more. Simple as that, if you're going to be doing it. And I know that people try and keep them alive and do their best for them, because you get I see so many, especially elderly people, it's their only companion in a lot of cases, that have a little dog there, and it's a companion to them, and it's good for them, to be honest about it. Even they go walking with the dog. And the one thing you have to watch in you know, certain areas, dogs there is problems as well, because no point in saying there's not. You'd hear a dog barking all night, isn't the greatest thing within an apartment, and you're next door to it. You know what I mean? You have to be watching things like that. But I think, in fairness, more responsibility. I would encourage you to, before Christmas, because everyone will see a lovely dog somewhere, and a young kid, you hate refusing them. This is the problem. And the mammy and the daddy needs to know that with the dog comes a fair bit of responsibility in other costs down the line. And I think it would be good that when you be doing your awareness programme, that you'd give a rough idea of what a dog costs every year on the normal run of the mill. Plus, when you're doing that thing, plus, like, as I say, I see dogs that give them 700, 800 and 15 and 1600. Well, there's no point hopping a vet in or giving out about a vet if you charge you €50 to drop a panicure or whatever into them, okay?
Okay.